Too many inspectors fail the ICC. They fail it because they think it's about memorizing answers, and it's not. Okay. The ICC is an open book test. People walk in not knowing what's in the book or where to find anything or how the book is structured, and then you end up wasting half of the time just aimlessly flipping through the pages instead of actually finding the answer. So tonight, I'm going to show you how you can move through the code book like a pro, how to read it, how to find the answers quickly, and essentially how to pass your ICC B1 exam. And at the end, we're going to practice with real questions. So make sure you stick around. First, hit the like button, bam! Hit the like button, bam! Hit the like button, bam! Before we get started, that's a must, is to hit the like button, bam. Okay, so what I'm going to be using tonight is um, I had to get it. What I'm going to be using tonight is the 2021 IRC Residential Code Book. This is the physical book. I just want you to see what it looks like because this is what your questions will reference. As you can see, it's no joke. It's a very thick book. So this is the physical book. Now, you can use, now the ICC allows you to use either format. Some people prefer the hard copy. Some people prefer the digital one. So whatever works best for you. I used the hard copy to pass my test. Tonight, I'm going to be showing you how to use the digital version. Just because it's easier to show you that on a computer, but whatever version you want to use is totally up to you. So if you already have the book, let me know if you have the hard copy or the digital copy or what you plan on getting. Let me just make sure I send a notification out. I don't want anybody who's supposed to be here to miss it. Who do we have in the chat? Let me know who's checking in. Always let me know what state you are checking in from. This is not a lurker page. This is a talker page. Okay? So I want to know who you are, where you're checking in from. Let me see. I forgot about TikTok. My bad to TikTok. I had hella comments on TikTok yesterday, and I didn't even realize it. I was only paying attention to the IG comments. So let me pay attention to the TikTok comments as well. We can't leave out the TikTokers. Let me know who we got in the chat. We're gonna be talking about the ICC tonight as requested by the people. If you missed last night's live, we went over business setup checklist and also tools. It was a really, really good live. There's a lot of good information in there. We had some inspectors in there, some alumni. Shout out to Sarah and Viv and Sean and Preston and Eugene and everybody and Frank, everybody who tapped in last night. So if you missed that, the replay is up on my page. Make sure you go and check it out. I could charge for that live. That was a really good, no lie. That was a very good live. So tonight, what up, Sue Money? You planning to get the hard copy? The cat is out the bag. I am inclined to agree about the hard copy. I know that the digital copy now makes a little bit quote unquote easier and whatnot, but for reasons I will express here in a minute, I would recommend the hard copy. Let me know who else is in the chat. Don't make me start calling your name out because I can see it. So just let me know who you is in the chat. This is not for lurkers, okay? It's not for lurkers. All right, so one thing that I will say is if you want the code book or the tab, matter of fact, let me post it. I got everything already linked in my Amazon store, the actual code book itself, as well as the tabs. These tabs here that I have on mine that really, really help, that I highly recommend you get All of that is linked in my Amazon store. The link is in the chat, so you can check that out. This is the 2021, so you could have 21 or 24. Okay, so the ICC B1 is your residential building inspector exam. Some states like Cali and Florida have their own version. Cali has J1. It's basically the same content, same information. It's all built around the IRC, the International Residential Code. It's just that for some states, there are state specific specifications. Like in Cali, obviously, there's a lot of seismic activity in Cali, earthquakes. So they have to have their homes have to be built to withstand those conditions. Florida, they have a lot of hurricanes, so their and wind, so their homes have to be built for those conditions. So that's why they have theirs. You'll have 60 multiple choice questions and 2 hours to finish. It is open book, but that doesn't make it easy. And I think that's really what trips people up is that they think because it's an open, I mean, I guess everybody would think like if it's open book, it got to be easy. Oh, not a big deal. And no, that's not the case. You got to still know how to, first of all, you got to be familiar with the information. This is not something like, even if it's open book, you see how thick this is? Even if it was open book, is not something that you don't have enough time. 2 hours is not enough time to find every single answer in the book. A lot of this information you need to already be familiar with, which is why I always tell my students that everything that you're learning, you are preparing for both exams. Just um by the fact that you came to inspector flow, and that's what we do. We are preparing for both exams, so you have a good foundation. Now if you didn't, again, don't just think that you're about to pick up this book and oh, because it's an open book test. No, with open book tests, they set it up to where you have to know what you're talking about, and you have to know how to navigate the book. Otherwise you'll run out of time. Okay, so now let's look at how the book is. I got the digital one for the NHN and realized I prefer. Yeah, me too. I don't even know if they had. Yeah, I think they had digital when I started out. I'm a hard copy kind of girl. Like I gotta be able to write. I gotta be able to highlight. It's just something. And really, I looked it up. It's like our brain, for a good portion of the population, our brain, we absorb information better when we have a tactical, when we can touch kinesthetic learning, like being able to actually touch it. You think that digital is more convenient, and maybe it is because this is again a large book, but it's not about convenience, man. It's about learning the information and being able to actually pass the freaking test. So let's take a look. I'm already in chapter 6 here, so let me go back to my dash. Let me know. Okay, yeah, we can see it. Here it is. All right. So, basically, when you sit down, so again, we're talking about strictly the ICC B1 here. So, um, let me go here. So this is the IRC, the residential code. This is what is going to be what the exam is going to be based off of. These code books again come out every 3 years. So there is a 2024 IRC and then there'll be a 2027. It doesn't really matter which one you take. For the majority of the information is the same. They just make very small changes, which they literally have a book where they could tell you some of the changes that are made. So I have the 2021. You could use the 2024. It would still be the exact same thing. When you sit down for the ICC, every single question comes from somewhere inside this residential code book. It is not like those other exams where they are trying to trick you. All of the questions are tied back basically to specific code sections, definitions, or tables. So again, the more familiar you are with how the book is structured in general, the faster you will be able to move through it, which is why I say you can't just take for granted, oh, it's a book. You gotta take, like, you gotta actually be familiar with it. So let's go ahead and open up the IRC here. And so on the left here, you will see basically sort of like your table of contents. And you can see how the book is broken down from the beginning to the end. Okay. So, chapter 1 is about administration. This is where you find the legal side of building code. How the code is applied, what inspectors are authorized to do. You probably won't get many questions from here, but you still need to understand that it's here. This is an area that is not for home inspector students. We don't get into this. So this information would be new to you. So it would be advantageous for you to read it. Okay. So it sort of puts you on the mind of SOPs, like how we read, how we, keep in mind our SOPs for each major system. That's the same thing that the administrative chapter does. And then chapter 2, which I actually think is really beneficial. Let me bring all of this up. So you see all of that is within, this is chapter 1. Okay? So now um I want to go to chapter 2, which is definitions. And this is very, again, beneficial. This is a good studying tool. It's, a lot of questions hinge on a single word. And, when that happens, like, it's best to make sure you know exactly what they're talking about. So this test will ask definition based questions, unlike the NHIE. Okay. Especially ones that sound familiar but maybe means something else when you're talking about code language. So again, for any inspector period, this is good to go over. A lot of this, again, for my students, you know what an AAV is. You know about masonry veneer, you know about air barriers, air gaps, anchor boats, attics, backflow, back siphonage, about all of that. So this is, again, just good review, good practice. And then now from chapter 3 to chapter 10, this is the money making section right here. These are your building planning and also construction chapters. This is where like 70 to 80% of the exam will pull from this section. So this is part 3 over here, part 3. And then first in your first chapter, you have building planning. So this covers like egress, ceiling height, room size, like see here, design criteria, the size of your rooms, ventilation, sort of like layout requirements. Okay. Is what's going to be in here. See section 5, habitable space, hallways, and portions of basements containing these spaces shall have a ceiling height of not less than 7 feet. So all of basically your habitable spaces need to have a height of at least 7 feet. Bathrooms, laundry rooms shall have a ceiling. Look, this is a test question that was just on my inspector flow exam. In your bathroom, when you're talking about, especially when we learned about the shower area, you need to have a ceiling height of not less than 6 feet 8 inches. Okay. Same thing with basements. It just, again, it's giving those requirements. Now in chapter 4, we get to foundations. What are the 3 main types of foundations? What's good? Peace. You were supposed to tell me your real name yesterday, so I ain't have to keep calling you. I don't think you ever did that. So what's up? What's the deal? In chapter 4, these are our foundations. So what are those 3 main foundation types? Everything will fall under one of those 3 types. Again, footers, we know that that is the beginning of everything. Designed to handle all exterior walls shall be supported on continuous concrete footings. Okay, we already know that. We already learned that. And so some of the standards that we're learning general standards. Like, okay, the footer has to be 12 by 12 or this, that, and the third. Well, this table gives you a specific uh design requirement for the width and thickness of your concrete footer. Okay. Chapter 5 gets into floors. So for my students, again, we covered this in structural when we got two floor systems, wood floor framing. We know that the floors are going to be constructed of dimensional lumber, right? We know that we got our bottom plate, and see here in the diagram, these squares here represent the vertical structural members, which are your studs. Studs are set to be installed how many inches on center? And so this is actually a really good, again, diagram to practice on, to sort of, like, again, I'm talking about my students who've already learned this. Your seal plate, the foundation, your fireplace. Remember the clearance to combustible requirement. See here, if you've got a wooden stud, it can't be right next to your fireplace for obvious reasons. And then in chapter 6, we've got our wall construction. Same thing. Wood floor framing. Chapter 7 is wall covering. So that would be more like the interior. See here, 7 interior covering. So your drywall. Interior coverings shall be installed in concordance with this chapter and these tables. Okay. So if you got plaster, gypsum, cement plaster, excuse me, the application, how long it needs to cure or sit, the materials, excuse me, all of that. And then it also has the exterior coverings as well. Where did I go? Wall covering wall. Where is oh, right here. Exterior covering R703. Exterior wall coverings. We spend a lot of time in Inspector Flow talking about these, right? How they need to stand up against wind and also water. Obviously, your WRB, water resistant barrier. Okay. One layer, we learned about that, the layer of the wood on the outside of the house. Over top of your wooden studs, you want to have your sheathing, and then your um water resistant barrier, your soffits, the trim. Look at this. Again, you are familiar with all of this if you are an Inspector Flow student. So that is a good thing that you have that foundation. Chapter 8 goes into roof and ceiling construction. So that's our rafters, our sheathing, our underlayment, all of the requirements, wood roof framing. Okay. So that's talking about your rafters, the lumber, wood treated, moisture. See, rafter side. Rafters shall be sized based on the rafter spans. Okay, so you learned again in Inspector Flow that the first structural layer of the roof is the rafter, but this table gives you the specific size that the rafter should be based on the rafter spacing and also based on the species and grade of wood that you are dealing with. What's up, Viv? If you do 2x6s, you can go 2x4s. Okay, yeah. For your studs. Okay, Viv. So you got the 21. You got this one here. Who else? Does anybody else have a copy of the book? Do you have hard copy or do you have digital? If you have hard copy, do you have the tabs? Are you tabbed up? Are you tabbed up? If so, where we at? Chapter 9, roof assembly. So this is your actual roofing materials, the slopes. Let me come up some. Your flashing, the ventilation. So see materials here. And then underlayment. Underlayment for asphalt, shingles, clay, concrete tile, metal roof, mineral surf roll roofing, slate type, wood. A lot of them shall basically, the underlayment requirements are here. Okay. See the types. This is all stuff again that we learned and that we talked about. And then chapter 10, chimneys and fireplaces. For I have 9, we just finished our fireplace and chimney. So you've got the same thing that we covered. Masonry fireplace. Did we not go over this? your hearth, and then you have the hearth extension. And the hearth extension, the size of it depends upon the opening of the firebox. So if it is less than 6 square feet, or if it is more than 6 square feet, um, which is right here, the walls of the firebox. Remember, we talked about fire brick, okay, the throat, the smoke chamber, clearance, again, clearance to combustibles. All of that is in here. To be quite honest with you, I honestly think that never mind, I'm not gonna say that. And then after that, we get into chapter 11. These are kind of like your specialty systems. See here, we move into part 4, energy conservation, chapter 11, energy efficiency. So this is where those insulation, the R values, and energy requirements live. Okay. Building, see, building thermal envelope. I actually had this, the colorful one, actually, when we talked about the different zones, climate zones of the country, and how we use that to determine our insulation and different things like that. Chapter 12 through 24 are the mechanical systems. So like your ducts, your vents, appliances. Oops. Chapter. So we move to part 5. And then here's your chapter 12, existing mechanical systems. It's a small one. And then chapter 13 moves, and then you cover again your exhaust, heating and cooling. I hate how it moves down like that. That's kind of annoying. Heating and cooling equipment and appliances. So access heating shall be located with respect to the building construction, other equipment, blah, 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 blah. Equipment. So we talked about that, the condenser and all of that kind of stuff. Clearances, combustion air, heat pump, refrigerant lines, the types of heating, ducts, air distribution, all of that we talked about. And then chapter 25 through 33 is your plumbing. So you move, let me close this up. Um chapter 14, close up mechanical, chapter 12, 13, 14. So we come down here, and then so our drainage, right here, chapter 25. All of our drainage, your vent, again, venting for the plumbing, materials, your support spacing, all of that, traps, all of that. So your supply, your water heater, again, you already know all of the the requirements for your actual water heater. You know, the drain valve is down at the bottom. Your required pan. So when people try to give you a hard time about um calling out a drain pan, don't put it in your report, because again, we're not there. And if you're doing a home inspection, we're not there as a code inspector. But you see right here, clear as day, where a storage tank water heater is installed in a location where water leakage from the tank will cause damage, the tank shall be installed in a pan constructed of one of the following. So it seems like it's not that big of a deal, but it's incorrect installation. Simple as that. Seismic bracing, again, for certain categories that have that high seismic activity, your pressure relief valves, your temperature pressure relief valve, your discharge pipe. So this is the extension pipe on our on our um on our TPR. Terminate not more than 6 inches and not less than 2 times the discharge, blah, 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 blah. Again, all of that we've covered. And then chapter 34 through 43 is your electrical. So we start off here with your basic equipment. So your circuits, your panel boxes, enclosures is the proper term. Location, clearances. Remember this. This is a question that always comes up. NHIE or ICC, they're going to ask about the working space, your clearance in the working space. Okay, so remember, in front of the panel, you got to have 36 inches at a minimum, or 3 feet of clear working space in front of your panel. It goes into conductors, size of conductors. See here, conductor size, if it is stranded, copper or aluminum, terminals, splices. What is the splice that we talk about outside? There's a splice that's significant to us and it's outside. Which one is that? What is it called? What is the significance of it? Um you'll probably get, so how you see how it works. You'll get a, there's only 60 questions. So you'll get a couple questions from all of these different um from the 10 major systems. They have it broken down. Like for electrical, there are, multiple chapters for electrical covering different things, but still you're still only going to see a few electrical questions, a few plumbing questions, a few, they're going to ask you those administrative questions. So again, that information that you have not studied up here in chapter 1, that you are not familiar with, you would want to get familiar with that and know about that. And then down here at the end, they have these different appendices or whatever. These are like optional chapters that jurisdictions can choose to adopt. Some states do, some states don't, but ICC still wants you to be familiar with them. So this is like swimming pools and patio covers and different things like that. More specific radon here, as you can see. So again, you just want to be, you want to know that it's there, so that if you get a question, you can know where to find it at. So basically, the ICC, you can see, is broad, but it's not random. So you mainly want to focus on chapters on the meat and potatoes, right? The chapters that relate to the major systems. You want to know, again, those tables. All of that is going to be beneficial for you. Okay, so let me know in the chat, which chapters do you think are your strongest, and which ones do you think are your weakest right now? If you have, you opened up the code book, have you gone through it? What issues did you find? Did you feel like you faced? Now, before we continue, I want to talk about something that I think is important, that people, yes, the service point is correct. The service point is correct. Need to know what chapters go over which information. So that you see that right here on the side. This, you see? So this is like, again, a table of contents. The same thing is in the at the very beginning. It covers each chapter and it tells you what it includes in the hard copy and over here on the left, which I don't know if people know or not, but that is also very beneficial. Okay. And to my point, a lot of people, I feel like, go for the digital because it's cheaper. It's $11 a month for the digital, as opposed to, I think the 2021 book is maybe like 160 or 180 right now. The 24 book maybe a little bit more. Um and that's fine. I'm not knocking the digital, but my personal recommendation is that you have the physical copy. Your brain studies just show, again, that your brain connects differently when you can touch and flip the page. You build, I forget the term, something memory, some type of memory that you build. You start remembering where things are in the book, and your hands almost just know where to go to find it. It's like me when I find myself looking. I don't got my NHIE textbook over, but when I can open up an NHIE textbook, and because I've gone through it so much physically, it's like I subconsciously sort of have, not everything, but some sections, or some, I can go right to a page where they're talking about this, or I know exactly what you're talking about there. And that's because I have spent years literally flipping through that book, getting familiar with it. Plus, you can tab it. Being able to flip right to the chapter, to me, it makes a big difference. That's a big help. So again, I know the physical book costs more. Check eBay or other like book resellers. You may be able to find a discount, a used copy for less. Again, if you want the, let me see, is the link still there? I have them all of this pinned in my Amazon store so that you can get it. So, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer bearing factoring out cost, right? Which one do you think will actually help you the most? Nicole, you didn't see any plumbing or electrical questions? It's crazy how they do that. Like how they have, and their test is not like, they have a much larger bank of questions, which we're gonna get to here in a second. The NHIE records, I mean, not records, but reuses questions over and over and over and over again. Don't ask me why I'm having a cup of coffee at 7:45 at night. I just am. Hard copy. Um, you hard digital since I'm taking the test digitally. I won't have to flip, but can stay on the screen. What do you mean? I won't have to flip back and forth, but can stay on the screen since I'm taking the test. What do you mean? Wish there were questions to go over to work on searching and using the book. There are questions like that. I've opened the plumbing and HVAC installation. So when you take the test is digitally. Is that what you mean, Naomi? It's digitally proctored, right? So you could take it from wherever you are. They ask you, you got to clear off everything off of wherever you are. You got to like literally show them like, the camera around the whole room, I guess, so they can make sure you're not cheating or whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna be honest with you. When I took the exam, first of all, when I took the exam, they wasn't digital things wasn't even an option. So I just it was the computer in front of me with the questions on it, and then I had the book. The only questions I really needed the book for was the table questions and to like check my answers. But the majority, I can just stay looking at the screen. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's not something that it didn't bother me because I didn't use it all that much. I was just looking at the tables and then confirming that my answers were correct. Because they're gonna add, you will see when we get to these practice questions, they're going to be asking questions. I would say 70% of the questions that they ask, you will have heard before. You may not remember exactly the answer, which you like, I think it's 12 inches, I think it's 16 inches, and then you'll have to go check to verify. But the majority of the questions outside of like the administration, the building official questions and all of that, you will be familiar. Cross space access opening and clearance and this and that. You will be familiar with all of those questions that they ask. So again, you can obviously choose whatever one that you think, but I just want to put it out there. Don't go with the digital if it's just sheerly about it being, cheaper and a little bit more convenient, because I think for the majority of us a physical copy would do as well. And this is a book, I mean, I'm going to have this book for the rest of my life. I mean, I know again that they come out every 3 years, but they're not going to make many deviations. Like I might get another one in 10 years or something like that when, tiny homes are a regular thing. And so they have to add a section. But other than that, construction standards, they don't change drastically enough. So, I don't know, Naomi, you haven't taken the test yet. Have you? Have you taken it? Why haven't Naomi? Have you taken the test? I haven't heard about that. I almost, if they're letting you use Control F, that's not fair. That's not. I don't think that. I don't even think they should let you use Control F. That's not fair. So let's talk about these tables. I'm gonna look at chapter 6. I know it's some tables here in wall construction 602. I think it is. Oh no, 602. Yeah, framing. Okay, so obviously always read the title of the table because again, you're going to be trying to answer a question. So make sure you're looking at the right table. It's going to tell you exactly what you're looking at. So let me see. I think it's 602. Okay, yeah, 602.3. This is your fastening schedule for your for your structural members. So if the question asks about nails, screws, fasteners, this is the table, okay? And you typically read across the row and not necessarily down, okay? Um and then these are I feel like these are I actually feel like this one probably even more. So that fastening schedule and then joy span. I think these are popular tables to ask questions about 502.3. These are 502. Oh, here it is. Floor joy spans for common lumber species. Okay. So this here on the left, let me see, let me pull this over. Okay, so we first gonna read again. The question asks us something floor joist. That's the key word. Key word is floor joist. So already in your mind, you should be when you come up. If you're taking the digital, I mean, if you're using the digital, when you obviously should be in chapter 5 where it says floor, floor. Okay, so see, look, chapter 5 is like this, and then you unroll it and you see all of the sections, section R501, 502, 502.1, 502.2, etc., etc. Right? So if they're asking you about floor joist spans, my first guess would be to come to 502, the wood floor framing. Okay. Now, when I look at the subsections of 502, general design and construction, allowable joist spans. There's my keyword right there. Let me go here. Okay. And as soon as I go there, boom, I have this table. Okay. So again, you want to kind of know this is the part that you have to prepare for before the test. You have to know what the columns mean. Okay, so you'll see here that your columns are labeled for the size, for the member size of the joist, 2 by 6, 8, 10, 12, etc., etc. So this table is for it for 40 PSF. Wait, why does it say 20 PSF? Dead load 20 PSF. Oh, residential sleeping areas, live load 30. Okay, okay, okay. Got it. Okay, so you look at the member sizes, the 2 by 6, 8, 10, and then under each size, there are your columns for your 12-inch, 16, so on and so forth. Okay. And then the row tables. So over here, this is the joist spacing in inches. So this represents 12 inches. We're talking, it stops right here. So we're talking about Douglas fir, hem fir, southern pine. And what happens is they will typically give you like the species and grade and the joint span, and then they'll want you to come up with the member size, or they'll give you a few pieces of the information and then they'll want you to find the missing one. Okay, so if they ask you what is the maximum allowable span for a number two Douglas fir 2 by 10 floor joist space 16 inches on center. The maximum allowable span for a number 2 Douglas fir. So we go down and to the left until we find Douglas fir number 2. Boom, that's right there. And then we move to the 2 by 10 row. I said 2 by 10, right? And then I said space 16 inches to the 16-inch on center column. What's the number there? If I find Douglas fir My notes. If I find Douglas fir, a 2 grade. Naomi, why you ain't take your test yet? What you waiting on, champ? Okay, what's the answer? Douglas fir, number 2, or grade 2, right here. And then I go to the 2x10. 16 inches on center. What is the maximum allowable floor joist span? Can you see it? Can y'all see this? Is it big enough for you to see? The maximum floor joist span. You can only see 12. Oh, can you see the? Well, for this particular question, you only need that one. You only need. Let me see. I can't see. Okay, so if you see 16, then you can't see 12. How can I change the size on this thing? Okay, can you see it now? Sixteen, 2, grade 2, 2x10. The sizing is not working because now you can't see the column headers, right? I am down to 16. You can't see? Oh, it must be lagging. You can't see it's hard to see the column headers now, right? Douglas fir, number 2. 2x10. So look, 2x10. 16 on center. And then if it flipped and it asks you what size joist is required to span the 15 feet. Did somebody say the right answer? Okay. Yeah. Then you work backward to the left to see which joist size reaches it. And then also don't forget too that there are footnotes typically at the bottom of each table. So make sure you check those out because they may have some important information for you on there. So let me see. Did anybody get there? You can see it now? Okay. I'm sorry about the sizing. If you have your digital copy, you can pull it up on your joint so you can see it a little bit better. Um so this also you got to pay attention to this distinction. See how here this table 502.3.11, the first one, floor joist spans for common lubber species, but we're talking residential sleeping areas. That's why I was just like, why did it say, why is it not 40 PSF? And then if you come down here, same thing, 502.3.1, but it's 2. These are residential living areas. Okay. So make sure that's why you got to pay attention to the title of First of all, this is where the translating come in. What are they asking you? Did they say in a sleeping room, or did they say in a living area, a habitable space? What are they asking you for? And then when you come to actually look at the table, make sure you are looking at the actual right table. Um, and then also sometimes you got to watch the conversions. If the table lists the span in inches and not feet, and the question is asking you about feet, don't let them trip you up. You just have to convert it. So, you just divide by 12. If they give it to you in inches, you divide by 12. Does that make sense? When you see these big tables in the code book, what's the hardest part for you? Is it reading it, knowing which one to use? What's the most difficult part? The next part of this is again, you have to be able to find the answers relatively quickly. 2 hours for 60 questions. Again, they're not going to give you enough time to like search and search and search for each answer. So speed matters. So as I mentioned, step number 1 is to find the keywords in the questions. If they say um roof slope or rafters or chimney clearance, or if it's something related to plumbing in the question, you've got to look for a keyword. And then over here, you've got to, for the first thing is to even see what chapter I could potentially be in based upon my keyword. You should absolutely um go through this, read this, so you know what's covered in what chapter. Okay. So if they ask about egress, if they start asking you about framing, wall framing, or anything like that, you have to have some idea of where to go in terms of which chapter. Okay. So the next thing is obviously use the table of contents. It lists everything by chapter. This is another reason why I could see them absolutely not allowing you to control whatever. They give you a table of contents. If the question asks you about the minimum ceiling height for a habitable room, where would you go? Which chapter? If they ask you about the minimum ceiling height for a habitable room, which chapter would you go to? Let me know. Let me know. Did everybody hit the like button? I need you to hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button right now. Y'all are my people, so I know I ain't got to beg you. Hit the like button. I need that. I need it. Bam, hit the like button. Bam, hit the like button. Bam, hit the like button. 3, Nicole, you absolutely correct, darling. 3, remember I told you the standards, the requirements are in the chapter 3, building plan in here. Minimum room areas, ceiling height. So if they asked you a question about minimum height, this is where you would come. You would have identified that keyword. You would use your table of contents. You would go to chapter 3. You would look at the sections. Boom. The answer is 7 feet. Done. Next, on to the next one. And then each chapter is sort of like the format is the same. It's the same pattern. So they is like general to specific, and then they have the tables. So each of them follows the same pattern. Don't stay long on one question. Again, they allow you to mark it, and because you don't have 200 of them, you can afford, if you can't find it, skip to the next one. And then at the end, go back, get the easy points first. Okay. And then when you're practicing, don't just read questions. You got to practice finding them. Like what Viv said, and I'm going to show you here in a second where those questions are. Okay. Or you can even pick a random word. You have enough knowledge to pick a word. Time yourself and see how fast you could find where in which chapter that word or that topic would be in. Okay. So again, it's not about just you don't really, to be honest, again, these questions are going to be familiar to you. The where you would struggle the most is knowing where stuff is at, navigating and reading tables. Would you agree? And then of course, just like with the NHIE, there's that mental part. You can't panic, be relaxed. If you don't know it, flag it and move on and come back to it. You got to watch those words, the minimum versus the maximum, the required versus recommended, the at least this to the maximum. You got to watch those words. So if you've taken a test before and you didn't pass, again, where did you struggle? Let's talk about that tonight. Where you struggle. And if you're about to take it, what are you nervous about? Is it the timing? Is it finding the answers? What is it? Let's address it tonight. Tonight. Okay, so again, this is your IRC code book. I believe I shared with you all that there are these study companion books. And first of all, let me go here. There are, in addition to just um the code books, they have other um resource material. They have a lot of stuff on here. Okay, so you see here on the left, either you can go to the codes, you can go to the commentaries, resources, collection, all of these different things. Okay, so is this the one I want? Yes, resources. I know how y'all feel about y'all flashcards. You're big on flashcards, aren't you? So if you go to resources, they have flashcards and they have them broken down. Again, the IRC is residential, so we talking everything up to 3 units based on residential structures, and then IBC is for your B2 certification. That includes commercial, retail, all of that kind of stuff. Everything outside of residential. IPC, they have just plumbing flashcards. IMC, these are just IMC is HVAC, right? So those are just HVAC flashcards. Now I already have. Let me see if I can pull it up in here. I want y'all to take this ICC test. What are we waiting on to take the ICC test? I could understand being a little intimidated by the NHIE, but we could pass this ICC test. What are we waiting on? Okay, so here are. Let me actually stop this one. Here are the flashcards. I've dropped this link several times in the chat in our group thing, but let me. Do I have it's a PDF. Oh yeah, I have it here. I'm gonna put it in school again. These flashcards. Now, again, keep in mind these flashcards. They cover. These are all of the title stuff. I'm thinking before. Don't think. Decide. Make a decision and put it into action. Pay for the test to commit yourself to it. We got to start putting stuff off, y'all. Time is value. It's not promised. Don't put off today. I mean, what's this saying? Don't put off for tomorrow what you could do today. Let me see. So these first couple questions are going to be about, again, the administration. On the flashcards, they don't give you the multiple choice, so you got to kind of know your stuff here because they just give you the answer. Let me try to, and you can see, as you see, there's 500 of them. So let me come down here so we can get into the meat. Where the stairway has a straight run, the depth and the direction of travel shall be not less than where the stairway has a straight run. What does that mean? The depth and the direct. Are they talking about a landing? Stairway. That's my keyword. I would look. I would look at, first of all, I would be looking at the choices and I would have an idea of what they would be talking about. And then I would look based upon that keyword, I would go and search. What do you think the answer is? Type it in the chat. Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all and tell y'all, since y'all here in November, we're gonna be focused heavily on test prep. I'm recommended the study guide that I created works for the NHIE and ICC. All of the information is in there laid out. And I'm gonna just let you know that for the month of November. Should I tell y'all? If you watched it live yesterday, I said it. Maybe I'll keep it. Maybe I'll keep it and we'll see. We'll see who gonna really tap in and be serious. Think I'm taking it again Sunday. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Make sure you have prepared. Don't just go in there again winging it because it's an open book exam. But make sure you prepare. What's the answer? I don't see nothing in the chat. Y'all lost? Nobody knows the answer? What's your guess? Well, they see, this is the thing, Viv. Um if the answer that you think it is in feet, you would just convert it to inches. What's the answer? Nobody knows? I'm looking at my the code said, give me a second. I'm gonna go because I want to get to the questions that we actually gonna go through. 36 landings for stairways. That's exactly what they were talking about. So where the stairway has a straight one run, the depth and the direction of travel shall be not let. If you, and I think if I'm not mistaken, the ICC there are only three multiple. There are three multiple choice, not four like on NHIE. If there would have been one that said 12, one that said 6, and one that said 36, which one would you have picked? Were you thinking like how I was thinking? Like landing. See, Stu Money, you was thinking that way. See, I told you. Let's look at one more before the ones that I'm going to show you have the actual multiple choice. See, ramps. This is one that we wouldn't know because we didn't study ramps. But egress door is the key word, and then it even tells you which section. So I guarantee you this is a table question, or maybe not. R33. Let me look. Oh, I gotta go back because I came to flashcards. Say it was just haha, yeah, facts. You see? So again, this is one that we wouldn't know. You would look at the table. Let me see. Stairwells should not be less than blank inches in clear width at all points above the permitted handrail heights and below. This is one we should know. We should be familiar with. What's the key word? If I had no clue, what's the key word? You can't be doing one of these, right? Um Stairs. We're stairs. Like you can't you can't do that. You gotta automatic either you gotta know, you gotta be familiar enough. My tabs is so raggedy. You gotta be familiar enough with your tabs to go directly to the spot, or you gotta come to the table of contents. And again, you're not going to have enough time to go to the table of contents for each one. So what's the answer? Stairways should be not less than. So they have to be at least or at a minimum of how many inches in width? The width requirement for the stairway. 36. Wait. Okay, they said exception, the width of a spiral stairway. So again, that's one that we should have been familiar with. I probably would have looked in the book just to double check, just to make sure that I was correct. Okay. So are there any questions? Let's get to some of the practice questions. I was trying to show you about the different resources that they have. Okay, let me take this down, remove, and reshare this. Okay, so I was showing you about, there's the flashcards here, and then there are this significant changes. This is where they give you any significant changes that they make from one cycle to the next. So any significant changes that was made between 21 and 24 would be here. Okay. Code notes. Are these those? I think these are the same things that I have, yeah, in my, oh no, it's code check. Yeah. I recommend these books. I have these again. These are in the Amazon cart. I have this one, but the 2021. Hold up. The code check. This is sort of like a reference, and it gives you some illustrations. See how it has the different systems here. So this first one, again, we start with the administration, building planning, location, and then you move on. Mechanical, appliances, electrical. And then this code check right here is strictly for just the electrical system. This was very helpful for me. Very much beneficial, not crazy thick diagrams, and it has references to the code. Excuse me. I don't know if y'all can see it because it's kind of small, but it has the code reference or where you could find that at. Picture of the service panel. Let me put the link in there so y'all could. Those are I think those are maybe like less than $20. Honestly, these code check joints. I keep these with me because again, I don't have all of this stuff committed to memory where I can just pull it up. So I keep these with me. Code check books are good. Okay, good. Did you go over whether we should take? I don't think it too much matters. Here in a minute, probably by the end of the year, the 21 is gonna go away. So other than that, it doesn't. They're the same price. Um, it doesn't really matter. You can't go back any further than 21, and I do believe that when we get into 26, that 21 is going to go away because there'll be another one coming out. We'll have another version in 27. Okay, so that's here. I would recommend get them from Amazon because I think they cheaper via Amazon. And then what I think is most important in this, again, we under resources, are these study companions. Again, they have them for each um trade, if you will. So they have the residential, they have the building, they have the plumbing, mechanical, etc., etc. And these are beneficial. What is Q&A? This feels new. Q&A application guide. Oh, see, they haven't updated this since 2009, so not so much. All right, let me go back to my dashboard because I have the residential study guide. So over here, this or not study guide, but study companion. Over here, this is sort of like a condensed version or a recap of the IRC chapters. So let's say again, we are here in study session 8. This covers chapters 8 and 9 of the IRC, the ceiling construction and roof assembly. Again, these right here are good questions to see if you can answer. Again, to understand just the concepts, not even bigger beyond the test, just to make sure you are grasping the concepts. What do we know about our ridge board? Minimum of 1 inch thick. The rafters should be directly opposite. If not, if they're going to be offset, they can be offset only how many inches? The cool thing about these study companions, though, is down at the bottom, they have the questions and they have the multiple choice so that you can answer. Okay, so on a site having expansive soil, roof drainage water shall discharge a minimum of blank from the foundation walls or to an approved drainage system. Would you have to look in the code book to answer that question? Would you? What's the answer? What's the answer? I think this thing is lagging. How do I get it not to lag? On a site having expansive soil, water shall discharge a minimum of how much from the foundation walls? Bam, 5 feet. We already knew that. You could have answered that in 15, 20 seconds and been on to the next one. So you see what I mean about not every question will require the textbook because of what. That's why to me, I think it's better to train to be a home inspector because we learn, in my opinion, the information much more. We learn it way deeper than most people who are trying to take this test. They don't have any, to me, any real working knowledge of these 10 major systems. They just have gotten familiar with the code book. And I think it's better to do it the other way around to get a solid understanding of the working systems and then just figure out how to find the answers or navigate the book where you already know a lot of the information. What about the next one? Where the roof pitch is less than blank. The structural members that support rafters and ceiling joists shall be designed as beams. Let me put this up. Okay, so you may or may not know this one, but we're talking about what's the keyword? If I didn't know, what's the keyword? Where would I look? Maybe roof assemblies. That's probably where I would go. It's to roof assemblies. What's the answer? A, B, C, or D? Roof pitch. Where the roof pitch is less than blank. The structural members that support rafters and ceiling joists shall be designed as beams. Roof. More than just roof, though, is the roof assembly so that you can get the structural part of it. Would be the key word. Correct answer is A. This is the reference. I want to stay up. Rafter supports. Okay. What about this next one? The maximum spacing of collar ties used to connect opposing rafters shall be blank inches on center. The maximum. The most that collar ties can be spaced is how many inches on center? What's the answer? The maximum spacing, maximum collar ties. You know what those are. You know what they do. You know where you would find them. Correct? Phone is making a crazy noise. What's the answer? This thing is lagging too much. B. Correct answer is B. Same section for your reference. The ends of ceiling joists shall be lapped a minimum of blank unless butted and toenailed to the supporting member. Ends of ceiling joists. Visualize, okay, ceiling joists shall be lapped at least blank unless butted and toenailed. So again, we still talking about 4. So you saying C, Nicole? And what you saying C? Is that what you guys are saying in the chat for the answer for this one? 3 inches. I actually thought it was A. Shelby's lap not less than I didn't know that. I thought it was A. So see, this is the one. This is one where I thought I think it's 1.5, but I would definitely be going to look. And again, ceiling joists. I'm still talking about structure. I'm still talking about structural, possibly roofing. Excuse me, roofing structure or roof assembly. Somewhere in there is where I would be looking. 802. Let me open it. Yeah. Roof ceiling construction. Yeah. Yeah. Let me come back down. Next. Let's go to another system. What other section over here y'all want to go to? Foundation, floors, chimney, HVAC, plumbing, electrical. Y'all want to do electrical? That sounds like a party. Let's see what we got going on in electrical. So these are again your clearance for your service drop. Remember we learned this? Okay. Energized parts operating at a minimum of blank shall be guarded against accidental contact by people through the use of approved enclosures. So they're talking about anything that's energized, any energized conductors or anything that's operating at a minimum of how many volts? We have to protect them or protect us from them by using an enclosure. You know what an enclosure is, right? Oh, so y'all don't want to do electrical? I could have swear y'all was gonna say electrical. Okay, what's this answer? And then we'll go to one of those. Energized parts operating at a minimum. If I don't know this, I'm going to again, I know electrical is in the 30s as far as chapter. I'm gonna start at the general requirements. I'm gonna look for enclosures. That's my keyword. Panel. D. Nicole says D. The correct answer is A. So you gotta remember, energized parts operating. So this number is gonna be a smaller number because basically what they're saying is even if you only are operating at 50 volts, that those conductors, that equipment still needs to be contained within a panel because it can be dangerous to people. It is not asking about um the appropriate amount of voltage. You see what I'm saying? It's saying that again, if we have any energized parts with even a little bit like 50 volts, it would need to be within an enclosure. Here's that working space question. Provided with a working space, a minimum of blank depth measured in the direction of access. The direction of access is in front. How you access it. So we need a minimum working space of what in the front? We just went through that one. B. 36 inches or 3 feet. Workspace in front of electrical panel board shall be a minimum of blank in width. Width, but no less than the width of the panel board. So we're talking about, we looking straight at the panel board, a minimum of space and width is what? B? You think the answer for number 3 is B? Would you double check it in your book? That's the beauty of this. See, on the NHIE, you just gotta go with it. You gotta eliminate and you gotta say a prayer and go. In your book, with this test, you can check, you can verify. And if you were to verify, wait a minute, Nicole, which question are you talking about? Are you talking about for 2 or are you talking about for 3? Because for 2, I'm with you. For 3, not so much. What's the width? The working space clearance requirement for width as it relates to the panel. That was the first answer too. Okay, so what's the answer for 3? Is Elijah in here? I don't know why you can't. Can everybody access the chat? The chat. If you watching, can you access the chat? Are y'all on y'all phones or what? Elijah says that he's on his phone, but he can't access the chat. I hope people aren't trying to chat and can't chat. I have to check into that. You should have the answer. So for 3, Nicole says the answer is A. Now, I'm with you when you're right, Nicole. I'm with you when you're right, baby. Okay, let's go. Y'all say y'all want to go to foundation. All right, let's go to foundation. Scroll to the bottom for the questions. Unless grading is prohibited by physical barriers, lots shall be graded away from the foundation with a minimum fall of blank within the first blank. You have to be logged in to access the chat. Logged into what? YouTube? Is that a setting for me? I have no clue what that means. Um is that the answer for number oh no, Viv. See, these answers are coming in so late. This is crazy. We done went to foundations now. You have to be logged in to access the chat. I'm sorry, Elijah, if you're here and you're not able to chat. I really apologize for that. I'm not sure if that's a setting on my end or what. No, it's for anyone. YouTube. Oh, so if you on YouTube, don't that mean you logged in? Or you could be on YouTube without being logged in? I feel like I'm getting old. Like a lot of the technology stuff is like I don't feel like I'm keeping up with it as fast as I did maybe like 5, 6 years ago. the other day, the other day, I have nine. They was like in the chat going nuts because focus mode was on, so they couldn't see anybody. All they could see was themselves. And I'm like, what the hell is focus mode? Where did that? I had never even heard of that. And they were like, you got to turn it off. And I'm like, how do I turn it? I'm getting old, man. I'm aging out of social media and online. You can be logged on. You can be on YouTube without being okay. Understood. So Elijah, if you're here, somebody go to school and tell Elijah to log in. He got to be logged in. Okay, what's the answer? Elijah just said, I'm not up to date with this technology. Me either, brother. I'm just as lost as you. What's the answer? This is one we should know. This was in for us site grading and drainage. The grade has this at the foundation, the grade has to slope away at least blank inches within the first 10. Oops. The answer is B, 6 inches within the first 10 feet. In the absence of a complete geotechnical evaluation to determine the soil's characteristics, sandy gravel material should be assumed to have a presumptive load bearing value. This is, I'm pretty sure, again, we wouldn't know this one. I'm pretty sure this is a table question. Okay. So you would know load bearing, you would be thinking foundation. And then this is this is the table. I'm assuming they're giving you the okay, yeah, sandy gravel. See here. And then boom, there's the answer right there. So that's what I mean. They're not again expecting you to know that, to have that memorized. Concrete using a basement slab shall have a minimum compressive strength of blank where a severe weathering potential exists. I'm pretty sure that's another table. Exactly. Table 402. So these are not, again, you don't have to know them. You just have to know that you need to go. If it I don't know how to explain it, but it's like nobody would have all of these figures. You wouldn't know, nobody would know for every type of soil what's the load bearing value. It got to be in the table. We're not knowing that value. Same thing for this. We're not knowing that value. It's not a straight direct answer. There are too many different soil types that have different lobes. So it gotta be in the table. Has to be in the table. 6 feet in the first 10 inches, correct. You can watch it as a guess. um Elijah, could you hear us? Say you gotta be logged in. They say you have to be logged in. Logged in to access the chat. Thank you to all of our Inspector Flow tech liaisons. Um, would they still trial finish? I would have no clue. I would be like, huh? What you talk? I would skip this one off the rip. I wouldn't even feel like so I would skip this one off the rip. The way I would be skipping this question is crazy. Air entrainment for concrete subjected to weathering when required for locations other than garage floors with a steel troweled finish shall have a total air content of blank minimum and blank maximum. I have no clue what you're talking about, with love and respect. Entrainment for concrete. Okay, so we talking about a slab. We talking about Okay. Okay. When required for locations other than garage floors, shall have a total air content. Okay. I need my. Where would I be looking for this? Which chapter would this be in? I mean, what section? Air entrainment. I would be in chapter 4. I would have to scan all of the sections in chapter 4. So this is another reason why all of the ones that you need to go through and answer everything that you can and that you know and that you can quickly find, so that at the end you leave yourself whatever time is left, you can go back and actually really try to go through and find the answer. For some of those, you'll be able to do that. You just want to be able to do it for all of them. Because I have is that for a deck? Nah, we need Zoom for this so we can talk. Talk. Oh, you mean like get on the mic? No, I don't think this is talking for when required. No, this is not. This is not talking about a deck. Let me see what the answer is. Where it's at. Okay, so this is in. Okay, so see, we would know that we were talking about foundation slab. Hopefully you picked that up. Concrete floor, the slab, right? So I will come to foundations and I would come to section 402.2 for concrete. And here it is. Basement walls, front and other not exposed to the weather. Okay, okay. Yeah, see? Mm. Y'all, we can totally pass this test. You can totally pass the test. I'm gonna be honest. You really can. Peace, Sean. What's good? What is the minimum? Here goes one that you know. Minimum required width and thickness for concrete footings. Oh no, we don't know. Supporting light frame construction for a 2-story 32 table. It's in the table. All of that is too much. Nobody would have that memorized. The answer is in the table for sure. But we already knew that when we talked about our concrete footings, we talked about the width, the minimum being 12 inches, I believe. Where there is evidence that the groundwater table can rise to within blank inches of the finished floor at the building perimeter, the grade in the underfloor space shall be as high as the outside finished grade unless an approved drainage system is provided. Where there is evidence that the groundwater table, okay, so we talking about flooding basically, essentially, can rise to within blank inches of the finished floor, the grade in the underfloor space, the crawl space, shall be as high as the outside finished grade, unless we have a septic or something, a sump. Finished grade. I know it's not, but that's an answer for a deck as far. That's an answer for a deck as far as the load it can take. Got you, got you. Any other sections y'all want to see? So again, this study companion, I think it's like $3 a month to purchase. So you could go through these questions. You could get whatever one if you wanted the IRC, if you wanted the plumbing. You go again over here to resources and your study companion. This particular one that we're looking at right here is the IRC, the 21 IRC. And I already had the subscription for this one. That's why it's not showing. So it's 3. So let's just say we wanted to get the plumbing code study guide. So yeah, for $3.90 a month, we could have the plumbing code study guide. And then you could go through just plumbing questions. Does that make sense? Um, we might do a Zoom next month. We might. For the people that get the study guide, we might jump on a Zoom to answer the question. That's really basically all it is and you have to on your own, you have to do the preparation in terms of again preparing, getting familiar with the book, and then even again finding the answers and trying to get prepared. You know enough to say, okay, if I was looking for grade, if I was looking for this, where could I find it in the book? That's the part that you need to do on your own. And then when we come together, we could go through some questions and it would be beneficial in order to do that. Sound like it's worth it? Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's worth it. I would have all of them, to be honest with you. I would get the IRC, I would get the IPC. I would be willing to spend $20 or $30 a month to have access to these until I pass. And then once I pass, you don't necessarily need to keep it um after that. But again, most people fail because they don't know how to use the book. That's the major thing. And that is something, again, that preparation is on you, okay? To get familiar with actually using the book and where everything is. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns? So y'all want to do a Zoom? Do a Zoom and do what, Nicole? What exactly did you have in mind? You want to ask questions, or you want to answer questions? Which one is it? Which one? You pay for premium. I do pay for YouTube premium. I can't do no whole bunch of YouTube ads, Elijah. I can't even do it, baby. I do pay for, and I think there's some other benefit that I like, but I do pay for premium. I ain't gonna lie. I'm glad you made it, Elijah. Do you have any questions since you finally made it to the chat? I don't. I don't care for the lag on here. I can definitely say that. I don't too much care for the lag. Let me see. I'm gonna put these. Here's another another practice exam. I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna drop this in there too. B1 practice exam. I forgot where I got this from. So again, these are questions. And then at the end, look at this. Studs and non-bearing partitions may be notched to a depth not exceeding what percentage of a single stud width? Oh, I see. No, 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 no. No, I don't have the ICC premium. My bad. Nah. Mm-mm. I just have I think the premium comes with like some AI stuff. I don't I don't too much. I don't too much need it. And again, I use my IRC. This is what I use. As you can see, my book is a little, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I use. I don't even too much like try to navigate it on the digital. When I was earlier before, I don't know if you were here or not, but I was talking about the difference between the digital and the hard copy. I think again, a lot of people get digital just because we doing digital now. It's cheaper, it's maybe more convenient or whatever the case may be. But in my opinion, I think that it is beneficial to have the hard copy book. But whatever, makes you feel warm and fuzzy. I might need to get me some new tabs. Look how my tabs is looking. It have been through the storm and through the rain. I have an inspection tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I'm going to try to, if I have service, 10 o'clock. If I have service, I'm going to try to be live for a little portion. It's very hard to, feels good to figure out how to work this YouTube stuff things. I feel I learned better with physical copies. Me too. Shout out to Naomi and everybody in the chat. They was the ones saying that you got to be logged in order to actually comment in the chat. I had no clue. I'm thinking if you get on YouTube, you just on YouTube. I didn't know you actually had to be logged in. But I definitely think that and as I mentioned earlier, there are studies that show that for many people, our brain absorbs and retains better information when there's a tactile component, meaning you are touching it. Did you make some extra tabs like no, these are all straight up Amazon. These are all straight up Amazon. And I've had these for a while. So I mean, I guess it's not like they not durable or nothing, because I've had them. What? How long have I had this book? Like 5 years now. So I didn't make any of this at all. It's hard for it to go live during oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely hard to go live. That's the problem that I have a lot. And these are real paid inspections. So, and then what happens is that I'll be on there explaining something to y'all, and I'll be done. It took too long, then I got to hurry up, and it's stressful. So my book is falling apart at this point. Yeah, mine is a little, but that's what I'm telling you. Look on YouTube. I mean YouTube. Look on eBay. And some of Google book resellers and stuff like that, a lot of times they will have, especially for the older versions, they will have used copies on there that go for the low. Me personally, I maybe this is a little too nerdy for y'all, but I enjoy reading the code book more than I've ever enjoyed reading an NHI ebook. To me, the code book is more clear, is more specific. The diagrams are much better. So you use a GoPro for my inspections. I do not. You talking about like with the little joint where I can have it harnessed on? No, I don't. I don't. That's an idea, but I don't know. It's hard to. It's not even so much the camera, because I could just put a camera up. It's the talking part. It's like it's the explaining what I'm doing while I'm trying to do what I'm doing, and I'm trying to report on it. So that's really the hard part for me. If y'all wanted to like see it, is that what you said? Do you feel like you just want to watch, even if I wasn't talking, you would just yeah. So you're not trying to yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily the holding of, because I be having terrible grammar. I have a magnetic thing where I could just clip the phone up and it helps. So it's not that part. Is again, I'm literally inspecting the furnace, but I'm trying to explain what I'm doing. I'm trying to write it down and all of that. So um if y'all would if you I mean, I can do that. If you want to just be able to watch, to me, I thought it would be most beneficial to hear it talk through. But if you just want video, I can I can oblige. Yes, I did talk about IRC and IBC. So IRC is the International Residential Code, which covers up to 3 units, and then the IBC is commercial and basically everything else. So when you want to get your building inspector um um designation, your B1, you are going to be focusing on the IRC the residential code. When you want the B2, that is when you will go business. I mean, building code, the IBC. B1 is your residential, B2 is your commercial. I would like to see without talking. Okay. Do you record for yourself video? Um, I don't know exactly what you mean, but when I'm doing an inspection, I typically take um a lot of pictures and videos. I take pictures and videos of everything before I step into it. I think I showed y'all that on the video in the bathroom and in the house last month or something like that. There was stuff on the floor. Took a video showing that before I ever stepped in, it was like that. And a lot of times, the thermostat, that's one. GFCIs, because these are things that sometimes people like to blame on the inspectors. So this is like CYA documentation that I'm getting. These aren't gonna likely make my actual inspection report, but I take them. Um, um, I feel like what would because it would be just like, I don't know. I'm not sure if that would be a good experience, Nicole, because it's like I'm gonna be up close on stuff. Sometimes I'm gonna be bending over. It's like you're gonna be like, "What's that? Where you at now?" It's like I don't know if that would actually be beneficial. Maybe instead of explaining, just talk out what you're seeing or writing. Just say your thoughts out loud. I get what y'all are saying, but it's not that easy because again, these are real paid inspections. So I don't know. I don't know. It's not it's I find it to be difficult to even say verbally because then here's what happens. I I got a flow. Like it's like a muscle memory and I just do it without thinking. So to stop and verbally say what I'm doing, I would be like, okay, what I do next? It's weird. I think maybe y'all understand it better by and by. Once you start doing more inspections, it's like you get a flow that you are just used to, and to interrupt that flow at all, that's why I don't let nobody really talk to me because you start talking to me about this and then I forgot where I'm at and I'm looking at my it's like it just gets kind of difficult. Um I think yeah, I think the best bet what I can do is I can schedule at a different house when I'm not doing an actual paid inspection. When I'm not doing a paid inspection, when I'm just at a house. Matter of fact, I'm under contract to buy a house right now. I could go to that house and I could be on video and I could be on there and I could talk and I could answer and I could do that one. I could do that either live or recorded because I don't have anything else that I need to be focusing on. It's my brain to look at what I'm looking at, to remember what I if I'm seeing what I to be able to write it, to be able to take the picture, to be able to I'm sorry y'all, but my capacity just don't it don't work well for me. But you really think just watching a video would be helpful? With either IRC, IBC, I could focus on one trade exam. So Elijah, for the trade piece, you need to look into your state's requirement to get licensed at because you're trying to be a licensed electrician. So you need to look at your state's requirements. It may include ICC, it may not. You typically have to be a journeyman and all of that kind of stuff. So that's the first thing that you would want to do. Now, in terms of the exams, there is the E1, which gives you the electrical inspector credential, but not a license. You wouldn't be a licensed electrician, which is what I think that you're trying to do. I need to hear more about this. More about what would be helpful though, like during with the inspection piece. Like, is it just the videos to Nicole's point without the talking? Is it Me saying, what did she say? Talking out what you're seeing or writing. What, from a mock inspection perspective, like what would be most beneficial? I feel like that's what I was referring to, the E1. Yeah. But again, you want to double check because the E1 is an inspector credential. That is not the same thing as being a licensed electrician. You know what? Are you on IG, Elijah? If so, send me a DM. I'm gonna hook you up with my guy Mill. He's an electrician. If that's what you're trying to do. Because again, the electrical inspector piece would not suffice for what I believe you're trying to do. Are there any other thoughts with this mock inspection piece? Because I could take the videos tomorrow. If y'all just want to see, like, what do you want to see? A video of the bathroom and the kitchen? Like, I could take those videos and post it if you feel like just looking at it would be helpful. Oh, you know what I maybe could do? I maybe could, yeah, yeah. What would be beneficial? I maybe could take the video and do a voiceover after the fact. For me, it would be beneficial to see what you're seeing and then just have you talk out the inspection. Hmm. Any particular system, or um is it more for like technical, like a system? Are you trying to see like the flow or the order of the inspection, or what? Let me see. So tomorrow, let's just say, if when I came in from doing my exterior, I walked down into the basement and I just started videoing like in order. So I walked in, went over to the main water shut off, went over to the water heater, went over to the main drain stack, and then I took that video and then did a voiceover, basically, um what I saw, what I said in my report. Yeah, do it on a non-paid one. Your whole flow. Yeah, maybe I'll go to Tracy and do that on Saturday. I'm gonna be in that area. And so that would be a long video though. We would have to like huh. Does everybody feel like that? Are y'all I had no, I need to do more surveys and see like what y'all really thinking, what y'all really need, because I had really no clue that that was a need or a desire. So y'all want to see like basically like a live, or not, maybe not a live inspection, but you want to see an actual inspection done, not so much talked through, but you want to see it done. Is that what I'm understanding would be helpful or would be beneficial? Viv said you talk too much. That was such a nice way of putting that, Viv. Viv said, Nita, you just be yapping, my G. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna test it out tomorrow. Okay, cool. So I'm not gonna go live. The alumni have spoken. I'm not gonna go live tomorrow at the inspection. I'm going to record a video of the basement, the portion of my inspection that is in the basement, and I will do the bathroom. And I will do the roof because I'll just record it with the drone. And then I will, I probably, to be honest, doing a voiceover is gonna be too much work. So I probably would just either be on here and play the video and talk through it. Cause then I would have to edit and all of that. And that's a good thing. To me, the flow and the order is the most beneficial. I feel like alumni, don't y'all feel like y'all pretty much so know my flow and my order? That's not what's the information? I feel like I've given that to you like a lot. I feel like that's why I just felt like, I mean, how much do y'all want to hear me talk about the order? I do roof, exterior, I go inside, down to the basement, plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, like come upstairs, I go to the bathroom, I do the bedrooms, I do the attic, I do the kitchen on my way out. I feel like I've kind of like hammered that home. But yeah, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna take the videos of the house that I'll do tomorrow, and then um I will see. I will let y'all know tomorrow if we can do live. See, that's the other thing. To me, it's most beneficial when you do it live so that you can ask questions in real time. Are y'all again, is it not about asking questions you just want to see? Because I always, for me, like I be like, I like to ask, like I like to talk about what we're talking about. I like to see it, you know, like right then and there. I would not enjoy necessarily watching a video after the fact, because then I would want to know something and you wouldn't be there to answer, and that would irritate the hell out of me. Do y'all feel like that as well, or is that just me? So then that's the other thing is we need to, in my opinion, it would need to be done live. Just want to see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. You said once there's nothing wrong with copying the right. If you do sound like I did say that, I can ask in school after the fact. Okay, see, I feel you, Naomi, but you the type of person that's proactive like that. You know what I'm saying? You know how you're an independent learner. Like you just only certain little tidbits that you want, and then you take them, you do what you need to do with it, you come back, these are my questions, boom, 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 and then you good. And I can appreciate that about you. I'm not sure that everybody else is on that same type of time. You also have an additional knowledge because of your adjuster piece. um I feel like, and y'all let me know in the chat, I feel like other people would be beneficial for them to see the thing, hear the thing explained, and be able to ask questions to sort of get clear about what they're seeing. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, I'm cool. We could try it all different types of ways till we figure out a way that works. That's really what I'm like. We could definitely do that. So I will take the videos tomorrow. I will post them, and then I will let you know what's tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. I have 9. We have class on Friday. I'm gonna say pretty. I'm more than likely can go to Tracy, and I keep saying Tracy. That's the address, but I can go to a house that I'm purchasing, and I can do my inspection there. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I need somebody to come with me so they can help me run the camera. Let me ask the lady. That's what I'm gonna do. On Saturday, y'all gonna be around on Saturday, midday sometime? Or should we schedule it for another time? Saturday or no, let me know in the chat. Saturday for the talk through. Nicole wants a sample report. But y'all just ask so much of me. Okay. So we'll do that. We'll create one together. Will we not? If we do the inspection at the house where we have time, could we create the inspection right then and there together? Would that work? And then I know what y'all want to do. Y'all don't want to do nothing but copy my narratives into y'all report. I also, we got to get in probably in January the AI piece, how to use AI and Chat GPT and all of that for your report writing. We'll probably do that in January. November and December is going to be dedicated to testing. We need to get past these tests, y'all. We need to get past these tests. NHIE, ICC, I don't care. We need to get past these tests. That's what we're going to be focusing on for November and December. I can commit to doing some mocks so that we can be learning, seeing that way. And then January, I want to start us off strong with the AI piece, using that in your business and your report writing with the marketing stuff. What did you all think about the question that I asked about about having one-on-one time? Is that something that y'all feel would be beneficial? That's again something that I never thought about would be beneficial, that people would be into, but I'm hearing that it would be. So is that something that you all would be into? And if so, Naomi already told me, she said I'm good. I love you, Naomi. I really do. I so appreciate you, how you give it up. Like you my kind of girl, man. I won't be around, but I get in what I fit in. Okay. You deployed or something? You say you was traveling. You out making you some money? Um, I'm gonna see, because I'm gonna be getting a little bit busy here. We're finishing up IF9, so I know that I have Saturday open, so we might have to go ahead and run it on Saturday. It will run probably for a couple hours. So those who could, I gotta bring my charger and all. I gotta get it set up. So those who can tap in live, and then I will of course post the video so that you can watch the replay and send me your questions, Naomi style. That's kind of like how the meetings were. You don't think so? I like the meetings. Like the midterm meeting. Here's what I was thinking. I saw this guy, his name is Raymond, I think, or something like that. And he was talking about a tiny challenge method. You know how like there's this marketing strategy where you do a challenge where you take 5 days and you're trying to learn one thing or master one thing in 5 days, and somebody jumps on and does an hour training or whatever the case may be. He flipped that, and instead of doing it in a group setting, he says that is more impactful or beneficial to do it one-on-one. And I'm thinking, like, why would you do something one-on-one when I can do it 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 or whatever? But he broke it down in a way that really made sense to me. And then I started asking, and then people were like, yeah, I would. I mean, I haven't offered, consultation and things like that in years. But people were basically like, it would be beneficial to maybe work for like 3 days, an hour a day. And each person, tiny challenge sort of sets its own curriculum. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you were focused on the ICC for those 3 days, day one, we would do this. Day two, day three, we would do this or we would do that. Or if you were focused on business or marketing, like yesterday, I was talking to Sarah and Viv about, strategies to go from 10 inspections a month to 20 inspections a month. How do I increase my average, or how do I market, or it's like you pick sort of like your own curriculum. You're able to customize it to you, so it's like an individual vibe over a couple of days. And I thought, that might be beneficial because everybody has different things that they are focused on. Everybody's at a different, place. Some people are drones and this and that, whatever the case may be. So I thought, it might work out, or it might be beneficial to have something like that, which is why I asked in the chat. And it seemed like you guys responded to it. So I don't know. I'm always thinking about and contemplating ways to, like just make things better, make it more beneficial for current students as well as alumni. And I think, I know one thing that I'm gonna do more going forward is ask y'all. So please, when I ask, please answer, give me as much detail, as much thoughts, as you possibly can. I'm not saying I'm going to always do it, but I still want to know, from your perspective, what would be most helpful and most beneficial. If it don't, me personally, I don't care. I want to do what would be helpful to you. And I understand again that we are all at different places. And so, yeah, that's one thing I'm gonna really lean into here over the next several months is asking. If y'all don't want to talk about AI, then let's not talk about AI. You know what I mean? If you want to talk about business strategy, marketing, let's talk about that instead. This ICC thing, I didn't know that this would be helpful. Nicole did tell me that in the chat, but I didn't realize that you wanted to the mock thing, like all of that kind of stuff, sometimes I'm at a disadvantage of truly knowing from your perspective what you need, what you want, what would be, again, helpful or beneficial for you. So if you have thoughts, feel free to let me know. I got an open door policy. I'm open to all suggestions. This thing of ours, La Costa Nostra. You know what I mean? It's like it's not just about it ain't about me. It's really about y'all. I don't want to be doing things that are not helpful or beneficial. So yeah. So I got my homework. How the hell I came on here to do a training? Y'all done made me leave with homework. Tomorrow I got to record the videos. I got to record the videos of the flow. And then on Saturday, I've got to go live at the house. I'm gonna look at my calendar and see if I can do it any other day within the next couple of weeks and give y'all a little bit more notice. If not, like I said, we'll be rocking out on Saturday and you can just catch the replay. And if it's helpful and it works out well, then, I'll plan to do more of them. People are always asking me to, come do their inspections and stuff like that. So we'll see. Any other questions, comments, concerns, expressions of joy? Hopefully this has been helpful or beneficial. Take your test. I wasn't gonna say it, but I am gonna say it now. In November, there's gonna be a prize for the person who passes their test first. I can't hold water. In November, we're gonna do that. So the first person who passes their test, I'm gonna pay for the test. You gotta have the study guide though. You must have the study guide, which y'all get for basically free anyway. So you must have the study guide. I don't care if you pass NHIE or you pass ICC. Whoever passes first, I will be shooting you back your test fee. That's how we're going to rock it for November. More information to come. Now, if you pass it in October, Nicole, if you pass on Sunday, I'm going to send you a card, but I ain't paying for the test. But November and December, for real, that's what we really going to be focused on. So get ready to lock in. I want to see a few of us get past one or more of these tests before 2026. I feel it. Take it now, pass it now, baby girl. I feel it. Get it up off you. Get it up off of you. Absolutely. I would not be. I knew you was going to say that. Life ain't fair. You want the fair? You got to go somewhere you get you some elephant ears, a turkey leg. That's where the fair is. Life ain't fair. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Have a great evening. I'll see y'all back in school. For my alumni, to the rest of y'all, hit the like button. Bam. Hit the like button. Bam. Hit the like button. Bam. I'm out. Peace.